Hi, Jai Mohanji to all. Welcome to our book reading session. We are reading the book I Am Mohanji, Experience Sharing by a Disciple. And that disciple is none other than me. My name is Mamta. And who is Mohanji? Mohanji is a happening of an avatar in our age. He is pure manifestation of supreme consciousness. He serves as a point of connection to God. So we are on chapter 3. The title of the chapter is A Journey of Purification. So a purification means I saw many negative mental traits, vices like fear, anger, anxieties, insecurities, all these I saw get dropped one by one. So there are more which got dropped off, and we are going to continue reading those. So the next subtitle is Expectations, Disappointments and Anger. My younger boy had turned 19 by then. During an interaction with him, I lost my temper and we were engaging in heated arguments. Anger was unleashed. I have always believed that I am a good mother and have raised and nurtured both my boys to the best of my capacity. I have also believed that I do not have any expectations from either of the boys. But that's not true. We may believe we are not expecting, but when we closely observe our interactions, when we closely observe our reactions to get angry upon our own children, we get to realize that there is definitely an expectation aspect behind the arousal of this anger. An expectation which our children are not fulfilling, which leads us to disappointments, thus making us angry. I remembered a story as told by Mohanji where he speaks about a mother telling him that she sacrificed her whole life to bring up a son and now he has found a girl is getting married and not even asking her. Mohanji's answer to this mother was, if you have such an expectation from your son, then you cannot use the word sacrifice. You did not sacrifice. I could relate myself into the story really well. This helped me overcome expectations and disappointments. I learned not to own children or have expectations in return for our so-called sacrifices. The next subtitle is Righteousness and Human Refinement. It was a small get-together of friends and family. We were all merrily laughing and talking to each other. A certain activity was happening in the circle that at first appeared like a casual action. But there was something about the activity that was contradicting the conscience in me and giving me a feeling that something wasn't really right here. This is an example to our own selves to feel how insensitive we have become and have kind of accepted these kinds of insensitivities around us as a normal thing. We have got so used to living pretentiously that I was ignoring the impulse felt in my conscience. Mind overpowers conscience. Mind has an operating frequency of its own. It usually operates from a cage that it has built itself for. Operating within the boundaries of the cage provides the mind a certain kind of comfort. Mind slips into analysis, and we miss being our natural, authentic selves and thereby miss doing the correct action. Mind analyzes. Is there really anything wrong or unrighteous about the activity here? Could this be actually just a casual thing? Could it be a false alarm? Rather than letting the mind analyze so much, a better thing would be to feel the feelings of your soul and be brave enough to stand for righteousness, even if it was standing against your own close family and friends. I failed to speak or act here, and the result was that I got sunk in guilt and regrets. Mohanji says that we should not lower our frequency for the sake of the society. He gives an example of Jesus Christ. The pilot went out and said to the Jewish officials, I will bring him out once more so that you know that I have found nothing wrong with him. So when Jesus emerged, bleeding, wearing the purple robe and the crown of thorns on his head, Pilate said to them, look at him, here is your man. No sooner did the high priest and the temple guards see Jesus that they all shouted in a frenzy, crucify him, crucify him. Pilate replied, You take him then. You take him then and nail him to a cross yourselves. I told you he is not guilty. I find no reason to condemn him. The Jewish leaders shouted back, but we have the law, and according to the law, he must die because he claimed to be the Son of God. Then Pilate was greatly alarmed when he heard that Jesus claimed to be the Son of God. So he took Jesus back inside and said to him, "Where have you come from?" But once again, silence filled the room. Perplexed, Pilate said, "Are you going to play deaf? Don't you know I have the power to grant you freedom or nail you to a tree?" Jesus answered, "You would have no power over me at all unless it was given to you from above." Jesus did not change his statement. He stood by the truth, knowing very well that it could cost him his life. Jesus did not allow his frequency to diminish and spoke and acted what he stood for, which is the truth. We all know the rest of the story. Jesus was crucified, but his greatness continues to live in the form of a religion. Such is the power of truth and righteousness. Mohanji always speaks highly about human refinement. I was deeply sunk in regrets and guilt when I miraculously felt the subtle vibrations of Mohanji's words about human refinement deep inside my heart. The best translation in my capacity of these vibrations to words would be dharma, which means righteousness, in the golden age was on a different note than the dharma in Kali Yuga. In the golden age, the souls were already very pure and the definition of dharma was comparatively on a deeper level. But in our age of Kali Yuga, dharma simply means human refinement. It simply means you standing up for righteousness in your own set of activities and activities around you. Mohanji thus facilitated learning an important lesson of my life. His telepathic message took roots in my system. It has made me very strong. It is strong enough to keep me alert on the path of being righteous for the rest of my life. I made a promise to myself to always be courageous, to live my frequency, feel more sensitivity towards all beings, practice human refinement against all odds, and save myself from entering the zone of regrets. Here is a picture of Lord Jesus. The next subtitle in this chapter is Selflessness, Self-Respect, Self-Love, and Kindness to Self. Mohanji has described these as essential pillars on which spirituality should be based. Selflessness. The essence of our whole life is only about experiences and nothing else. Selflessness makes us to feel rich inside. Selfishness contracts our hearts. These are the beautiful teachings of our beloved Master Mohanji. I have started making attempts to imbibe these in my real life. Every time I offer a lift to a needy passerby, every time I share food or other essentials with the needy, or just simply share love, I am beginning to feel inner peace and contentment. The next subtitle is Self-Respect. Mohanji says, stay with the truth, do what is right. I am understanding that a precious life force is constantly flowing within me. There are certain things we want to do and some others that we don't want to do. There are things we can't do because we are afraid of approvals from our near ones, our families or societies. Here it is important for us to remember that we have this precious life inside us. This life should be lived boldly and fearlessly as we want to, provided we do not cause any harm to anything or anyone around. Next subtitle is Self-Love. I understood the importance of self-love only after I got connected to Mohanji. I learned to detach myself from the things unsuitable to me. Earlier, detachment was not easy due to certain concepts we bind ourselves with about society. Following Mohanji's teachings, I began to realize that yes, actually I am the most authentic person in my own life and I am constantly with me all the time. love towards my own self began to sprout. Next subtitle is Kind to Self. Our mind constantly wavers. Most of the time, we find ourselves under the control of our minds. We would be focused on something, suddenly our mind pushes us to something else, and we become slaves to mind. While the self, which means our soul aspect, has a natural tendency to think about God, to remain absorbed in His energy. This is because God is the natural ocean to which the river, which means the self, wants to flow and merge. I understood what it means to be kind to oneself through Mohanji's teachings. I am learning to be kind to the self and allow it to stay absorbed in God. I am observing that my mind finds big time things to get me off track. In these moments, I remember Mohanji's teachings about being kind to the self, and so I am able to overpower my mind, at least briefly. The next subtitle is Neutrality. I got the fortune to perceive Mohanji's multidimensional nature, which is explained in detail as Vishwarupa Darshan in the upcoming chapters. He is the one, the only one, operating consciousness through all beings. This has brought a lot of clarity. It has given me a new outlook. When people talk, good or bad, secretly I know it is Mohanji's energy that is functioning. When people behave in a certain manner, again good or bad, I secretly know it is him again. So what feeling can anyone have for the other? It is only neutrality. If it's good, we like it and anyways accept. The problem is when it is bad and we do not like it. At these times, I tell myself that Mohanji has allowed that to come to me. I may not understand. At the back of the mind, I know that the ultimate purpose, though, cannot be other than just the good. When we have genuinely fully surrendered, then we accept whatever He sends to us, good or bad. It is because it is Him who has sent. The next subtitle is Witnesshood. Same as with our own selves. It is Mohanji in me who is doing all the things. Where is then that our ego should get hurt or otherwise should get bloated? Mohanji has given us the practice of witnesshood. We take a step back from being front-footed and just remain witness to our thoughts, words and actions. We do not get carried away with the thoughts. We participate only as much as we need to the intensities of interactions kept regulated. I'm sorry, I read this sentence again. We participate only as much as we need to. The intensities of interactions kept regulated. I constantly remind myself that I am the projector facilitating the events and situations of my life. I love this idea of watching these like we were watching a feature film. Some events and the incidents that had felt too heavy now with the shift have started to look like bare incidents. This is a good practice. Anyways, we all love feature films. It doesn't matter even if they are horror films. Ownership. That's the next subtitle. I always believed I am the doer of every action. Being connected to Mohanji, I realized we cannot take the ownership of our actions, nor can we take the ownership of the people related to us. In context to the difficulties related to my son, this brought me great relief. This new realization is helping me to detach from the activity while being in the activity. And this is bringing the freedom that Mohanji is guiding us to. Mohanji says, ownership is an illusion. I will share my experience about losing grip on material things. I was taking a short afternoon nap. I was in a state never experienced before. I was lying on my bed in deep sleep, yet was fully aware and conscious. It was like an out-of-body experience. I could see my body in a sleep state. I could feel the weight of my body. It was heavy. Body felt like a stone, completely lifeless. I was aware of the people around me. I could hear them. It was like me meeting the real me and getting to see the temporary, which means body, separated. With such an experience of separation, I was witnessing all the things related to body, like material wealth, relations, etc., also separated. We are busy all our lives and find ourselves entangled all the time with this temporary stuff. The separation experience highlighted to me that whatever things I have been holding on to were just simply lying there and were left behind as it is. I couldn't use them or be with them anymore. Ownerships thus diluted. Gratitude and respect for things and relations strongly developed. To get this kind of awareness while living is surely a big deal. I might as well share things rather than hoard them, live an unattached life, and come out of this illusion of owning things. I saw everything getting left behind. So while I have them, won't it be a beautiful approach to get into a sharing mode and share with those who don't have, and enrich the real being in me, which is the real one coming along and who carries these good memories and enriching experiences. The next subtitle or the next vice which I saw leaving me, getting shed off, is ego. Mohanji says ego is the skeleton of our personality. Ego maintains our personality. So if we can break this ego, personality will fall apart automatically. The whole process of attaining multidimensionality is based upon diluting our personality. The way to break ego can be a simple practice. That is, when someone hurts us by some statement, we should know that Mohanji is the operating energy behind that person. This takes away all the reasons from us for being affected. As we keep practicing, we stabilize and are less and less affected. The ego begins to crack. The next one is our relevance on earth. Mohanji has said, our presence is our relevance. This is about a small incident, but it teaches a big time lesson. It goes like this. I have gotten off a bus and I need to go to a place that's within walking distance. I do not know the way, nor does the application of Google Maps on my phone work then. It is late evening part of the day and the place is deserted. I look around. I don't see any people who I can approach and ask for some clue. Then, at a distance, I locate a booth kind of a structure and I can see a woman sitting inside. This was like a ray of hope, like a lighthouse. The woman present at the moment felt like a light that can show me the way. I understood the relevance of that woman at that particular moment, in that particular situation, to me in particular. This is God Himself in various places, in various beings, being relevant to none other than us. This made me contemplate my role as a relevance to the world, where I too can be a ray of hope, a lighthouse to somebody. We all can be. In fact, we all are actually. We just need to witness our presence and watch our actions and realize how much of a relevance we are to other beings around us. It is not about big things. It can be a small thing as getting a glass of water to somebody thirsty. Even that may not be. It could be just an exchange of smiles with another. Even that may not be. Our relevance is just our presence in the moment. Another aspect to it is to feel gratitude towards all the beings around us for their relevance and contribution into our lives, keeping the fact at the back of the mind that it is the Supreme Consciousness working all around us through various beings, including our own selves. I think we can stop here for today. There are many more subtitles. There is desires, how desires got dropped off. There is gratitude, how gratitude imbibed into me. Then how self-pity, I shed self-pity. Then there is concepts, phobias, notions and prejudices. I stopped, binding myself into certain concepts, phobias and notions and prejudices. And there is yet one more, which is complaints. Complaining about things every time. I even dropped that. And then once we read all these, then the concluding story is a very beautiful story. It is the story of Ganesha. It kind of sums up the whole process of purification. Like, what do I achieve? What do I attain after I have dropped all these negative things from my life, from my system? How does it feel like? What is it comparable to? So that's a very amazing story. And then we'll conclude this chapter in our next session. So stay tuned. We will soon be back in a week's time. Till then, stay blessed. Thank you for joining. Jai Mohanji.